So we're in the fifth Shir, Be'ez Hashem, in the Sefer Al Gul Val Tmura, page Chaf and Hakdama. Yerishuloim, we can answer. Kein ma shekasiv abach, B'Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Yud Ches. The Bach says, B'ma shehaya pikpukim b'nusach birkas v'Yerishuloim, shehiskel b'binyan Yerushalayim, v'siyem b'kisei David. She'ena psicha me'ena chasima. The bracha starts out, V'Yerishuloim ircha b'rachamim tashuv, and it ends off, Boyneh Yerishuloim. So the beginning and the end are the same, but right before the end it says, Kisei David meher l'soicha tachin. Okay? So why does Kisei David, the throne of David HaMelech, what does that have to do with Binyan Yerushalayim? It's there's a rule that all brachas have to be right before the Baruch Atah Hashem. At the end, there has to be something that's similar to the very end. So why is this not similar? Kisei David, she'ena psicha me'ena chasima. The Herich Shama Bach Levire. By the way, in Sefer Mishkan Saroim, he brings a Maisa, very interesting story, from the Alter Rebbe, from the Lubavitcher, the Baal Tanya. He says like this: Kishadibru oidos sheroitzim lasos Medina. This paragraph here, Kishadibru.
This is Tursky.
Yeah, well, you're going to see. Pasach Admor Miskver Zatzal V'Omar. The Skwer Rebbe, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Tursky, who was around by the time of the Hakamas of Medina, he said like this. He says, Kisharav Balatanya Rotz Lahadfi Siduroi, when he was about to print his siddur, Halach Livnei Harav HaKadosh Reb Pinchas Mikaretz, Schusi Yagin Leinu Bali Tfus Slavita. One of the famous printing presses was in the city of Slavita. So he went to them, Shiad Fisu Siduroi, he wanted them to print his siddur. They didn't want to print it. They didn't like what the Alter Rebbe did to the bracha of Yerushalayim. Kisei David avdecha mehera l'seicha tachin uvnei oisla b'kar v'yamein binyan olam. He switched it around so that binyan olam should be right before Baruch Atah Hashem Boyneh Yerishuloim. Kadei sheyeh chasim u'mein hapsicha. V'heim loy ratzu lad fisoi. They didn't want to print his siddur. Bishvil zeh hashinoi. V'al oidas hakushah shetzarich liyos chasim u'mein hapsicha. They said, you're asking good. L'choy, you're asking that the beginning should be like the end. So Amru shemekubel me'aviyem harav HaKadosh Reb Pinchas Mikaretz chusi yagin aleinu. The Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, he said, as on Malchus Beis David is nishdakain binyan Yerushalayim. That without the Malchus of David HaMelech, without the Mashiach, you can't have binyan Yerushalayim. Im kain hainu me'ena psicha. So it comes out that it is the same thing. When you say Kisei David meher l'seicha tachin, Boyneh Yerishuloim is the same thing. V'siyeh madmor miskver zatzal. So Skwer Rebbe said that applies to the Zionists. He said, "Vas villen ze? What do the Zionists want to do? On Malchus Beis David in Hishdaka and Binyan Yerushalayim. You can't have the building of Yerushalayim." Okay, so this is really the Bach's kasha. This kasha the Baal Tanya asked is really the Bach's kasha. And by the way, interesting thing happened just this week. On the end of the Tainus Shivas B'Tamas, someone sent me this article from Ruth Sheva. The Belzer Rebbe said a Torah after the fast, and he said, b'shem his uncle. You heard this?
Yeah,
he said that the Binyan Eretz Yisrael comes before Bias HaMashiach. It says over here, you can have this if you want. It says, "B'mahalach divrei HaTorah shenaso admor mibelz l'chaim l'regel sim soim yud zayin b'tamus tzitzit es divrei doida Reb Aaron Rekeach." He quoted the previous Belzer Rebbe, "Shetida biad binyan haaretz letzad hatzipiyah Yehudis l'biyas HaMashiach." He said, "La'achar hakamas HaMedina b'shnas tafshin ches hakancel hapolani Amar l'doidi zal." The Polish consul said to my uncle, "Sheyesh manhigim charedim shemisnagdim leinin shel Medina Yehudis." There's some Jewish leaders who are against a Jewish state. They say it's against the Torah. They say Mashiach has to first come. Then afterwards the Jews will have Eretz Yisrael. Right? So he said, "What do you hold?" So the Belzer Rebbe, Reb Aaron, answered. He says, "Ki loy kach." He said, "It's not like that." Baal ha'orach chaim hakadosh omer she'eretz Yisrael tibana lifnei bias haMashiach. He says, no. Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that Eretz Yisrael will be built up before the coming of Mashiach. U'yachar mikein Mashiach yavai. Hu yivtiach shenizke sheniya al pi Torah. And he promised that it will be al pi Torah, whatever that means. The state will be al pi Torah. So, basically...
This is to the Polish consul?
Yeah, he said this to the Polish consul.
Reb Aaron.
Reb Aaron Mibels, yeah. So, what's the Orach Chaim HaKadosh? What is he referring to? I mentioned before, the Chofetz Chaim, in the Sefer Chofetz Chaim al Torah, says, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that, it says, Dorach Koichav Miyakov. I don't know if he means this one, but this is what he could mean. Dorach Koichav Miyakov, Kam Shevet Mizrael. If Mashiach comes in a miraculous way like a star, then good. But if we're not zoicha to that, then he'll come like a regular person. So somehow maybe he learned that that's going on Zionism. I don't know. It's not. The Pasuk doesn't say anything about Zionism. It doesn't say anything about coming before Mashiach. It just means Mashiach will come in a natural way. He'll be a regular person. But it doesn't mean anything about binyan hearts before Mashiach.
Mashiach will come in a natural way. Who's saying this?
The Orach Chaim HaKadosh says on that pasuk, the Kam Shevet Mi Yisrael, means that it's possible that if we're not zoicha to a miraculous geula, then it will come in a more natural way. Mashiach won't be.
What do you mean by natural?
Meaning like he won't be flying on a cloud. People imagine Mashiach coming from Shemayim.
So that's the
somehow.
traditional belief.
Right. But it doesn't
meaning Mashiach is going to come in an unnatural way.
Yeah, it means he won't be just a regular person who gets up and he becomes a leader. He'll be someone who's sent from Shemayim. Like it even talks in the Gemara about whether Eliyahu Navi and Mashiach could come on Shabbos because there's Tchumin L'mayla, they're coming from Shemayim. It's mashma that there's such an Indian that for Zoicha, Mashiach won't be just a regular person. He'll be someone coming down from Shemayim. Mashenkin, if we're not Zoicha, then he'll be like a person. He'll be Ani Roichav al Chamor. He'll be riding a donkey. He'll be a regular person. Anyway, but it doesn't say that Mashiach will come after Binyan Haaretz.
I think Mizrahi quoted the Orach Chaim for this.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Kitzer, yeah. So this thing that the Bach discusses in Orach Chaim Kuf Yud Ches is really something that people are still discussing today. You see the machlokes with the Baal Tanya, and you see this even today. Binyan Haaretz.
So this spells the Rebbe. He was just quoting his uncle, or
he's quoting his uncle. Yeah, that's all he said. I don't know what the context is, why he brought this in, but I guess Harut Sheva chopped it up. They said, hey, now you have the Belzer Rebbe, he's a Zionist. Yeah. Basically, the Herich Shama Bach Levayer, back to the Sefer Al Agula, it says the Bach explains the Tamtzis Dvar of the Shapir Havu Chasima Me'ena Psicha, that it does match up. Why? The Boyneh Yerishuloim, the Kisei David, Chada Milsa. It's all one thing. She'enon Muvakshim Al Boyneh Yerishuloim, El Bi'ofen She'iyeh Roi LeKisei David. We're not asking for a Boyneh Yerishuloim unless it's such a building that's going to be fit for the throne of Mashiach. Loi B'ofen Acher. We don't want any other type of government. Okay, so now back to our question. The Rebbe asked the question, so why do we say in davening that, and we say Al Yidei David Mashiach Tzikacha, the Geula should come through David? Why are we mentioning that? He says, because we don't want to give ourselves a room to make a mistake, that there could be a Geula before Bias HaMashiach. As it happened, that this plague has spread, that now people believe in the Geula before Bias HaMashiach. But we're trying to show ourselves. Tefillah is for Hashem, but it's also for ourselves. We're telling ourselves important principles of Emunah. So that's what we're telling ourselves there. I just want to mention, though, the Belzer Rebbe. We just mentioned Reb Aaron, the Belzer Rebbe. So there's a story that at the time of Hakamas in Medina, he said, over from, I think, the Sar Shalom, the first Belzer Rebbe, he said that, I don't remember the Lashon, but it's in the Tefillah for a Shabbos night. In the Zmiris for Shabbos night, before the Suda, right after Shalom Aleichem, people say, Riboin kol elamim, Adoin kol neshamos. So in the middle of that, it says, V'shivisi Hashem likrasi, sheterachmeni oid begalusi legaleni. He says, Hashem, you should remember us even in our exile to redeem us. So he says over, I think he says the Sar Shalom was Medayik, that What's this thing that even during exile Hashem should redeem us? What's the redemption during exile? So he learned that it's going on in the Medina. I don't know if the Sar Shalom learned that, but the Rebbaran, the Rebbe's Rebbe learned that even during Galus there could be such a thing as a Geula. Anyway, leave that aside for now. So back to the Sefer now. L'chein ro, he says, kasher v'anzein pasim mispach. L'chein ro l'farit b'tfilah zu b'ferish. That's why we speak out explicitly. Al yidei David Mashiach tzikacha sha'ach legeula. Ashal yidei David Mashiach tzikacha on the mitzvah. We're only waiting for a geula that comes through David. Loy zulas. Uve'emes zakeh haruus. The people of clear sight. Einam royim b'oifen acher. They don't see it in any other way. Aval ha'shoichet ha'atzum ha'mistameh u'ma'aver einei ha'olam. That the shoichat blinds the eye, they see it as miracles. They see miracles in the ways that the apikorsim draw aside the hearts of the Jewish people. They're so mistaken and they so confuse other people. They think even they think it's actually honor to Hashem. Just like by the Chet Ho'egel, it was they thought that they were praising Hashem over the Egel. They thought Hashem's influence was on the Egel. And it really was the other way around. It was the Samach Mem. They actually praised Hashem through the Egel, and they said, Elo hecha asher halucha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Shahaya kavanasam Hashem, ka'amr l'mayla. They meant Hashem brought us out of Mitzrayim. Asher kazois v'kazois ira lanu gam achshav. The same thing happened now today. V'dor hashafel hazeh b'amun neseinu rabim. V'yomiru es kvoidam b'tmura. They took Hashem's honor and they exchanged it for something else. V'chiluf noyer ma'oid. B'chol zeh, all this happened. Yan she'einayim lahem v'lo yiru. They have eyes, but they cannot see. They can't see the truth. Parshas Maseh. It says that he brings another example of where the Torah speaks about blindness as a punishment. If you don't drive out the inhabitants of Eretz Yisrael, those who you leave over will be like thorns in your eyes. Pirish Rashi Zali Seidois Hamanakrois Einechem. They'll poke out your eyes. Bir Aramban Zal Shalom HaKavana. The Ramban explains, V'sikim Beinechem Kemoiki Ashoicha Di'aver Pikchim. Doesn't mean literally they'll knock out your eyes. It means that when you have Goyim living among you and they draw you into their culture, they blind your eyes, like the bribe blinds the eye. V'chein Lifnei Iver Loisite Michshal. It says before a blind man doesn't mean literally blind. It means someone who's tempted by something. That the guy will blind your eyes and you will understand. So now we go back to our tefillah. We will see. Why are we davening that we should see? The Rebbe asked, seeing is something everybody will see. The answer is no. We're davening that we should have good eyesight, brura, clear eyesight, 20/20 eyesight, the amitis, ki hiskalis malchusa isbarach shmayhu ach al yidei David Mashiach tzidkecha. So that's what goes together. Einenu sireno, we should see that what? That al yidei David Mashiach tzidkecha, that the Gula will only come through Mashiach. That's the only thing we're going to wait for.